Everyone. Good morning, fellow patriots. I'm Mandy, the Awakened Patriot. Let's see how everything goes. Let me see. Everything is working the way it is supposed to be working. There, it worked. All right, good morning, everyone. So today I actually have a guest joining me today, which makes me super, super excited that somebody actually wanted to come on and have discussion and chat with me. And her name is Sherry Taylor. I met her on the Living Warrior, and she did a call-in, and we just kind of, she was just part of the discussion, and I don't know, I think there was just a connection. Decided to come and join me today. We were in great discussion. Good morning, DK Second Chin. He still hasn't told me what that means. I'm gonna find out. He still hasn't told me. He's a busy guy. So I'm going to bring Sherry on. We were having a nice discussion about our crafts and, our artistic dreams and things that we like to do. Good morning, Robert. How are you today? All right, I'm going to bring Sherry on, and I'm going to have her introduce herself and tell us a little bit about who she is. Good morning, Sherry. Did we get it figured out?
I sure hope so. Can you hear me okay and everything?
That sounds better.
All right.
She was kind of breaking in and out, you guys. She was kind of breaking in and out. So all these little juicy things that she was talking about, I wasn't able to pick up on. And I was like, oh, I want to know what she's saying. So are you feeling awake today, Robert? When I woke up this morning and I felt, I don't know, joyful, excited and joyful and happy. And I don't know, I just kind of interpret that I think whatever's going on in the world collectively, something is going in the right direction. That's kind of how I can interpret that. But I just woke up just feeling light and happy in my heart. And I think that means, I don't know, I think that means something. I think we're on the right track of what's going on in the world. And I think it's going to be a good day. Whatever's coming, it's going to be a good day. Okay, Sherry. So we were talking about, and you were saying to me that your mother was into crafts. That's something you're into also. Something happened where she wasn't able to do that anymore. And then you broke up and I couldn't.
Right. Well, first let me say it is great to be here with you, Mandy. Thank you so much for having me. And if I break or anything, let me know so I can try to figure it out.
Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about you, what you do, because
okay.
I think you're amazing. Go.
Well, a week after I graduated from high school, I joined the military. I joined the Air Force, and so I did a career in the Air Force, 20 years, and straight after that, now I do the same thing I did. So I guess you could say I'm a military brat. But
well, thank you for your service. We love you and appreciate you.
And what I was telling you was that my mom was into crowd. She's back east. I'm on the west, and I've always wanted to do something on my own. She did, as far as making money for myself, but that kind of never happened. I joined the military, and here I am now. And I always asked her, though. I said, Mom, whenever I figure out what I want to do on my own, can I learn from you? Because she did her own business, did everything herself. She's been through a lot, and she hired people to help her, maybe teenagers or in the malls selling crafts. She's been through it all. They would, either steal money from her or things like that. So she's been through a lot. I felt
right.
A lot of good advice from me if I ever ventured out and did something on my own. So, but maybe one day that will, after I retire, my second retirement. Who knows? We'll see.
Right. Right. Good morning, Tim Johnson. Yes, prayers for our country. Of course. Always. Every day. We should start our day like that every day. Prayers for our country. I'm kind of the same way. I have the job that I have because I can go in, it's hard, fast, get it done. I only have to work so many hours a week, make good money, walk out the door. But I've always been inspired to kind of make a living through my creative outlet.
Mm-hmm.
Through my creative outlet. And so like this winter when I was, good morning, Craig. When I was out of a job because of all of this BS that's going on, it was Christmas time, and I just know it's divine at work that I sold like 5 of my paintings, so I could actually like have Christmas without being stressed. And I was just like, it was so divine because I actually had, I don't know if anybody believes in psychics and all that, but I actually had a psychic say, "You're going to sell your work." And I thought, okay, thank you. That would be super great. But we have to have creative outlets. I have to have a creative outlet. That's almost meditation for me. I'm kind of, a busy girl. So that's kind of like that's kind of a meditative practice for me, is doing artwork, painting. I've learned a little bit about pottery, but I need all the supplies and stuff to get through that. But yeah, I do artwork, and I just that's my piece. And I think you should always, 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 always fill your heart with those beautiful things, Sherry, that we put off to the side. We always put off to the side. I'm too busy. I can't make time for it. That's what we need to be doing in the world today and right now. If it's not teaching us at this moment in life that you need to be doing what you love, period, flat out, that's how you raise your vibration in the world. That's how you make a difference in the world, is raising your vibration by doing what you love. You have to do it.
Right, because if you don't do what you love to do, then you're not going to be the happiest moments, So I agree.
Right. Yeah, go for it. If you dream it, you want it, you want to experience it, you have to do it. And if it scares the shit out of you, then you absolutely must do it. My coolest moments in life were things that scared me to death. I was like, I can't do it. Nope, I can't. I'm too scared. I can't do it. And then I made myself do it. And then the opportunities that followed were changing, amazing, beautiful. So that goes to all of you. Okay, and Mr. D. Hunter, I won't mention your name because you're playing hooky. I won't mention your name. That guy, the funny one, Opera Boy. There we go, Opera Boy. There we go. We're gonna give you that one. Okay, so you've been in the military for how many years?
Years. I did 20 years.
Okay, 20 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
So what's it like for you through everything that's going on in our life as a military personnel? Because you mentioned something about living life,
Right.
trying to the military and politics, and trying to keep all that in a peaceful divide.
Yeah, let's start here. During my whole entire career, I paid no attention, zero attention to politics. So that was a long. And the main reason is because I've mentioned this before on different platforms, but when you're either active duty or a civilian working for, you cannot voice any political opinions. You can't have signs or anything that talks about your opinions at all whatsoever. So I believe that I didn't even get into. It also stems back to your childhood. Up, I was brought up. My family did not talk about politics. I didn't even know where my mother stood as far as, politics. And I think the only type of politics in my life went during childhood. Um, some of us remember that growing up, we only had maybe 5 or 6 channels on the TV, right? And so
Right.
news from either watching it during the day or in the evening. The evening, they, you know, comedic shows. And I remember favorite show that was Miami Vice on Friday.
Right.
But other than that, watching the news on TV, you know, there was no politics. Every once in a while, you see the president on the TV give a speech, but even in those moments, they were out of my reach. They wouldn't talk down, I guess, at our level. So I
Right. Not something we would pick up on and be like, oh, this is important to me as a kid or a young person.
and so the one incident that I remember throughout my military career was in the 90s during the Clinton administration. And we all remember the dress incident, right? So
Yes.
when that happened, it 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 really aggravated me, and I had no one really to talk to about it, how I felt, because being in the military, you don't express your feelings about that. And then when I would hang out with my military crew in the evenings, we'd be more of, you know, whatever, watching a movie or all sitting around and, talking about other things in life. We didn't even talk about politics. So when that happened, um, it it really aggravated me because being in the military, if I were to do what he did, the very next day I would be put out on the street. But he was left to be the president, and nothing was done basically about it.
Right.
Really, that really tore me apart, where it's like, you know, I'm not allowed to do that. My commander in chief, who I'm supposed to look up to, can do nothing. So that really shook me. I look back today and I think that I look back on that incident and I think, that at that time, that's where I should have started delving more into thinking about this world and about all the bad things that were happening behind the scenes. I
Right.
didn't even think about that. So
Right.
the
Good
news,
morning, Jersey girl. Sorry, go ahead.
the news at that time, they would just show what was going on and then they move on to something else. So, if you
Right.
had, that's fine. But then the very next day they would not even talk about that subject.
Right. Yeah. And looking back now, you're just like, man, there were so many things we should have paid attention to, and I totally didn't. I know. I hear exactly what you're saying.
And the time that my life, and I, like I said, my whole basic life, I wasn't into politics. The time that started at me was, and probably in other people too, was whenever Mr. T started talking and campaigning, and I started listening to that. But before that, I was nowhere to be found on the political scene. And
Exactly. Exactly. You're like President Trump. We got Trump. Okay. We got to hear what this guy, Trump's running for president. We got to hear what he has to say, right?
yeah,
We didn't know what to think. Me and my family didn't know what to think. We're like, Donald Trump?
yeah,
Really? All I knew is I didn't want the other alternative.
right.
That's
And
why we voted the way we voted, because it was like, all I know is not her. Period. Flat out, not her.
but I wasn't even into this side, that side for then, and that's when I started thinking about it. But I knew in my heart that more on the, I guess you would say, conservative side. So that's what should have awakened me. And all that time between then and now, I almost feel was wasted time because I didn't look to the good and evil. I just went about my day, about my life.
We all did, Sherry. We all did.
Well,
Every one of us did.
yeah, I often hear people, and this is so true, people say that we're all on our own timelines as far as
Absolutely.
seeing what was happening.
Right.
Some people, they started maybe 5 years ago, like me. Some people started maybe 10 years ago and 20 years ago. At first, when people would say that, I'd be like, what are you talking about? You knew this stuff back then? And then I'm thinking, if I paid attention, then I would know,
Right.
you know?
I hear you. I hear you. My brother would talk about things like the Illuminati and things like that and the Freemasons, and I'm like, okay,
Uh,
well that sounds creepy. That's as much effort as I put into. I was literally just thinking about that just the last couple of days, going, he talked about that stuff. Have you seen this? Like, you need to hear about this. And I gave him no space for it,
yeah.
and I kind of feel bad that I didn't give him space for it. But he was talking about it years ago.
See, and you had, I didn't have anybody. So I kind
Why would you pay attention to that? You're like, those are just secret societies that don't concern me.
right.
Ooh, little did we know.
It really does. It affects everything, and
Absolutely.
is in everything. I think
It's
I think I heard that Mike Lindell say that one time, that he wasn't into politics. In reality, politics is in everything. So, um,
yeah, there's a motive.
one other thing to talk about just with the military. I mean, there's probably so many things, but um, to me, their own opinions. Everybody has their own stories, but to me, there is a difference between men and women and being in the military. And I know probably some people don't like to hear that, but I think that God created us. He created us all. He created us male and the female, and I believe that He created male more strength, than women.
Yeah.
And I also think that He created them with more patience. It just
Us patience,
I think men have a little more patience than we as women.
because
Or
we got so much to do. We have so much to do. We have 50,000 things going on. Kids, bills, house, job. We got 50,000 things. They go to work and take out the garbage. God love. I'm not talking down to any of the men. We love you. We love everything you do for us. We love you.
Yes, we do. Let me ask you, Mandy, did you recently hear about the registry for women to be drafted? That case that's come about?
I haven't heard that.
Okay,
Are
so
you serious? Like drafting women?
yeah, they were talking about that. There was a case earlier this week. U.S. Supreme Court decided to decline to settle a constitutional challenge to all male military draft registration in the case of its National Coalition of Men versus the Selective Service System. But it got all the way to the Supreme Court, but they pushed it back down to Congress to decide. And I think this is
Wow.
over history a couple. Nothing's come of it, but yeah, they want the women to be drafted also, along with men, because the men drafted at 8. You have to sign something that says, if there's something going on, then we can draft you. But so
Now that's I have not heard that. That is something to think about. I couldn't imagine. Just like that beautiful soul. I don't know if you've watched either, Liberty Warrior or me, and we talked with that beautiful woman, with the spring roll. Did you see her?
what did she say?
She is just such a delicate soul. We were talking about if you had to use, lethal force in protection of yourself, could you do it? And she was like, absolutely not. She's like, there's no way. I don't care if somebody was trying to harm me or, you know, I would try to fight with my hands, but she's like, I could not. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't draw a weapon and harm another human being. So what a horrifying thing of somebody like her. You're drafted, going to war.
I know. I did hear that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I couldn't even imagine. I
couldn't either.
I don't know. There's a lot to it. I mean, I'm sure there's men that would be gung-ho to go, and there's men that would be like, that's not what I'm here for. I got a family to take care of. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I couldn't imagine being put in that situation.
Right.
For women, holy my Lord, I don't know. That would be a real, I don't know, Sherry, that's
a touchy topic.
What do you think? That's a terrible thing. I couldn't imagine going, you've been drafted, you're going.
Right. No, I agree. I agree. I couldn't see it happening because again,
yeah, Jersey Girl says, oh hell no, I've got 3 daughters. Yeah, I don't even see how that would work.
Well,
I'm not against women being in the military. If they choose to go do so, if you choose to go and do that, you know exactly what you're getting into. You know exactly where you're headed. You know what's happening. But to just pick and choose, I don't even see how that would work. I think that would just be the most devastating thing in the world.
So I'm very interested that, you know, comes out, especially under the administration right now, you know, so I don't know.
And is it under this administration that this is being talked about?
Well, this was just this week that I don't remember, but I don't remember. But it wasn't a state. It was the National Coalition that put it forward. So it's basically
okay. Broke out a little bit. The National Coalition of Men
that put it together, that put the case together to put it forward. Yeah, it was a group of men that put it forward, saying that they would want women to be drafted. So
okay, I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
With this whole woke movement of Me Too, women's, what? Oh my! Did you say National Coalition of Men?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what the hell? That's just, I don't know. I don't, what do you say? What, I mean, if for women, if a woman's coalition came together and said, all men that have done anything sexually inappropriate to a woman on any level whatsoever, we're going to chop your balls off. And we're going to make it a law. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. It is.
I mean, come on.
I think they're coming up with some crazy stuff recently, and I just don't know. I don't know if that were to pass. I think there would be a national coalition of women that would stand up.
And we can be noisy when we have to be. When we're pushed to the point you don't want to mess with women when they're in a space of defense or protection.
Right.
Men, it's a different thing, I think. I mean, not completely, but we're emotional, soulful beings as women. And when it comes to defense or protection, you don't want to mess with women. And we know how to unite and gather in groups. And you don't want a bunch of us.
Right.
Yeah. Robert Seal says probably funded by Gates or Soros again. Yeah, it's kind of that's a horrifying thought of drafting women. I just don't even know how that would. I don't even know how that would work.
No,
I don't. That just that kind of hurts my heart a little bit that's even a thought. That's even. And nobody's heard that. Has anybody else heard that on here? Anybody with us? Has anybody heard that it went to the Supreme Court, you said, and it's been pushed back and going to Congress as a decision? Okay. Did you hear what she said? I know she's breaking up just a tiny bit, But have any of you on here who've been in this awakened movement and paying attention to all these platforms of truth, have any of you heard that? Tim Johnson says, I have not.
Yeah, it was just a week, so it's very recent happened. But
And it recently just happened.
just happened. But again, I looked it up a little bit, and it's happened times in history, but it hasn't gone through, and I didn't even know that. But yeah,
And it's happened in our history a few times, that trying to be passed.
right,
Hmm.
right.
Wow. Yeah, no, I'm so gonna look into that. I'm gonna have others look into that, because that's okay. In this day and age, if it comes down to a draft, we are pretty much screwed with the weapons out there. That's true. But as women, I think we're pretty damn crafty. I think we are. We could I don't know. That's a horrifying thought to me. I can't even imagine. And that is so off the radar, and nobody's heard about it. And they're actually trying to pass something like that.
Well, and that's the thing. Really hear about see it line, or it's not really. They want to push things, whatever they want.
Yeah.
Just like Juneteenth holiday.
June what? Okay, it broke up a little bit. June what day?
Have you heard
I
about?
lost you.
Oh,
You're breaking up, sweetie. That's like every time we get to the juicy part, it goes out.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's Wi-Fi, I'm sure.
Okay, so Juneteenth. Have you heard of that? It just became a holiday.
I'm breaking up. I'm so sorry, love.
Let me see.
And right, Robert, remember, out of chaos comes control. Isn't that a interesting thought?
I'm going to see if I can do something different.
So it was June what?
It was called
Every time you say that second part, it goes out.
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth?
Juneteenth. Yeah.
Juneteenth?
It was just passed as a federal holiday yesterday. And I don't know if anybody's heard of that, but it's basically to signify the end of the independence of Blacks and the end of slavery. Did you hear that?
Okay. Juneteenth is a federal holiday for
the independence of slavery.
Hasn't that already happened? Like, hasn't that already happened a long time ago?
Right.
It's,
We already have Independence Day, which is July 4th, but
it's called Juneteenth.
yeah, Juneteenth. It was just approved yesterday. So
It was approved yesterday?
yeah, for through the ministry for a federal holiday now. So we have a federal holiday every 17th or 18th, 17th or 18th of June. What day is today? But yeah, and so every year now that's a holiday, federal holiday. So, which is probably why some people haven't heard of it, because if you're working in the government or any federal, capacity, then it's a holiday. But they're treating it just like July 4th, just like Independence Day. But yeah, didn't we? Yeah.
Juneteenth is tomorrow. DK Second Chin is saying Juneteenth is tomorrow, but the paid federal holiday for federal employees will start next year. Okay, well, that is, that's just pure stupidity. In my opinion, that's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, where do you think that's coming from? You think that's so that they can say, look, different races, we're on your side. We're gonna free you from your slavery. Or what's
But you know,
leading up to? Is it trying to lead up to like the reparation thing that they've tried to push?
my mind that came across immediately. And what
That's
else?
what you thought about, was to push that narrative of the reparations for the colored folks. You know, if we declare a specific day for their independence.
Mhm. Yeah.
What?
All of these things are happening, and like I said, they're trying to push a lot of it through, or they are a lot of it through. I mean, so many things, which is why we need it to change. And if there's enough of us, this we can enough of us doing things together, then we can change.
Well, the thing I think is just absolutely beautiful, Sherry, is that usually when we're talking and we have our shows and things like that, we're talking about the main stuff, like the main headline stories that's going on right now, you know, all the big juicy stuff. That's what we're talking about. But what you have just brought to the table, the last two things that you said, we're kind of asleep to that too. We're not paying attention to those little things that is absolutely ridiculous. And what's their end game? What's their motive to try to push that stuff through?
Well, to me, to me, thinking also that this is going to be down our history books for our school, and to me, all it's just going to bring back up, slavery and those bad things that happen. Why
Right.
do they want on and keep on bringing it up? If you keep bringing it up, I mean, that's their plan. Bringing it up, keep bringing division of people.
Exactly. Jersey Girl just said they need to stop the separation crap. And it's true. And I think that we as a people, we see it and we're over that shit. And most of us never even functioned in that capacity ever. And they think we're stupid. They, honest to God, think that we are the stupidest things. And we have been dumb for a long time. Just asleep, dumb, let them get away with whatever the hell they want to, not paying any attention. I am guilty, guilty, guilty. But now that we're awake and we see what's going on, they've done the same thing over and over. They don't have a plan B, so they're still just playing the same shit that they've done for generations because they've always gotten away with it.
And that's why I'm so glad you have this platform, like you said, and there are so many other, patriotic platforms that we can discuss these things, because if people don't know what's going on, they just run over with this stuff without knowing,
Right.
and they law, so we've got to kind of catch things before they get. And I
Right.
remember them talking about this about a year or so, but I never thought anything would come about. But it's almost put it in the middle of the night and just boom, it's there. All of a sudden it's
Right. And how long has that shit been going on? Forever. What are all of our laws? What are all the laws that we're supposed to abide by that we don't even know about?
Yeah.
That we
Yeah.
don't even have a clue about.
Especially right now, that's going on, because
Right.
push everything in our face, and they think we can't do anything. Well, there's a lot of people standing up for things right now. We could go on and on about
It's what has to happen. And it is. I can feel it, that people are waking up to what it's almost like we've been hypnotized. It's like we've been in this altered state of just not paying, like we're just not paying, we're not paying attention. Well, you can't close Pandora's box now that it's open. And it's just spreading like wildfire, because platforms like mine, I mean, mine's just a little guy, but they are everywhere, Sherry. They're everywhere. All the research I'm doing, I'm like, there's another one. There's another group, and everybody's supporting one another and getting on each other's shows and helping everybody expand and getting the word out. And so, and I think more and more people are looking for this kind of information.
I have another one more, maybe if
Whatever you want. Go for it, Sherry.
So, over the 2020 selection process, where there were originally 104 flag officers together, signed an open letter. Are you?
Yeah, you're kind of breaking up a little bit. Did you say 124?
I'm sorry, this is.
No, I'm going to translate as best I can. Did you say 124 flag officers drafted an
open letter?
Open letter, okay.
With their concern about the current administration.
With their concerns about the current administration.
The things that are going on, like the border crisis, election integrity, the exploitation of our military. And one of the biggest concerns is the current person who's in the president, about his actual ability to be the president. Because as
Right.
we know, it's a hard time remembering, his cabinet member names. He has a hard time Congress names. So they also talked about economy, pipeline that was taken down. So
right.
letter that was signed. And actually that number has increased to over 300. Actually, they're retired. Now, some people may be asking, what is a flag officer? So let me explain that. A flag officer.
Please do. I looked it up, but I thought she's going to have more information on that. Please do. Please educate.
Flag officer is basically a general in the military. Okay. In all of the services except for the Navy is an admiral. So they're at the top, the top rank. So flag admirals. Okay. So they wrote this open letter of all their concerns to the administration. And recently, the World Out Center, they were doing some interviews. There's a couple of them with Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. He's retired Marine, and Lieutenant General William Boykin, and he's a retired Army. So General Boykin, retired Army, he was one of the officers that signed this letter. And after they put this letter out, and it's online, after they put this letter out, of course, the left got in an uproar, right? Got in an uproar about it. And General Boykin started getting threats because of the letter. And
of course he did.
Because of those threats, he had to hire a security team. So,
wow.
To his ministry about this. And his ministry asked, does your wife know about this? And he said, no, she doesn't know about it. I guess he was keeping it from her. Not expected anything was going to happen, but the ministry said, well, I think that you should tell your wife. So he went home to tell her. And so they were in the kitchen, and he said that she braced herself up against the sink. She knew before he even told her that something was wrong, something was going on. And he said that he told her that the left targeted him because he was talking about, all this stuff and about Islamic. And he said that if they come after me, I'll get you too. And I can't live with that. I'm going to read this part of it. He said, so I'm just going to stop and just talk to people about God. I'm going to stop talking about that stuff, and I'm going to start just talking about God, because he couldn't live with, something happening to his wife. So his wife looked at him, said, let me tell you something. She said, I would much rather stand before the Lord and say, God, I'm here quicker than I thought I was going to be, versus God, I was afraid and I hid. Okay. And she also said, keep doing what God's called you to do, and I'll be with you. And then she said, just make sure if they come, they get both of us and we'll be together, together in heaven. Paused for a minute, and she said, now go over there to your brother's gun shop and get me another pistol. She wasn't playing around. She was saying, you keep doing what you're doing.
You have to. You have to. I mean, it's easy for me to say as, sitting quietly and safe in my home, but the people that know, that are directly, know what is going on, have seen it, that can literally help the shift of humanity's awakening. This is biblical. What is happening right now? It is of God. They've tried to expose these evil bastards forever. This is the most they've ever been exposed on every angle, every angle they could have possibly nailed these people with. It's out. It's in the open. People are talking about it. It's now is the time to speak your heart and truth. Period.
And that letter is a perfect example of,
It is.
all get together and we get our voices together, we can make a change. And
we are going to make a change.
The good versus, and that's
absolutely
what everybody keeps saying, and that is so true. And if we get together, our voices, and do what we we can combat the evil, but we just have to do it together. And some people might think, well, 300 people, officers signing a letter, that doesn't really sound like a lot of people. But I looked up the cap to where generals are capped at on active duty in each of the branches.
okay.
For example, in the Army, they're only authorized 231 flag officers. In the Navy, it's only 2. In the Air Force, 98, and the Marines is 62. So that totals 53. So if you look at it, that's actually a lot of officers that came together to sign that letter. Okay,
right.
And to voice their opinion. So it doesn't. A lot of people do something to make something happen. We just have to do that. I think we just have to do it. And that's what we're doing.
That's just amazing. I'm so freaking glad you came on today, Sherry. That's information that I haven't heard about. I'm looking in totally different places for my information, and that is huge. That is, all of that's huge. How many of them came out? You said 124, right? But there's way more than that.
And now there's the last I looked, it was
317.
Yeah. Retired
officers.
You something that's telling you there's a lot on our side, and we just have to get a do things.
Yeah, this is on such a large scale. It can't stop. I know the people that know information that needs to be told. They have been threatened to be fearful. We will kill you if you speak out, those kinds of things. People are fearful. They can't get all of us. And if I was in that position that I knew something like that in the time that we are through right now, it would be a struggle for me of knowing if I do not open my mouth and risk that, will I ever forgive myself?
I don't know. Have you seen the Project Veritas? Do you follow?
Project Veritas? Yes, that Ivory, is it Henner?
Ivory, I know her first name. I can't remember.
Ivory for Fox 26 News. In the middle of, I heard her tell her story, and then they showed how she did it. And I thought that was freaking brilliant because it was right in the middle. I don't know if anybody saw that, but right, it was like, over to Ivory, tell the story, and she immediately spilled how phony they are, that they're, you know, doing what they're doing. She said it on live TV, live feed, and then she went on to tell her story. You can't put that back in the box. Once that's out, I was like, it was genius, and that needs to happen. I think that kind of thing right there needs to happen. Those unbelievable truths like that just went. I guarantee you there was a lot of people that just went, did you just hear what she just said? Did you just hear that? And now look at her. She's everywhere right now on all these platforms. She's everywhere with what she's doing.
And the week before that, someone came out about Facebook, you know, an insider from Facebook. So
they're censoring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a victim of the wipeout of Facebook because I collected a lot of information when I started waking up and started collecting lots and lots of information. I wasn't really sharing it quite yet, but I was saving it and stockpiling it with Facebook and, you know, your little, wherever you save your shit. And we were going to start a podcast. A friend of mine, a couple friends of mine that are fellow patriots, we wanted to start a podcast about just regular everyday people that are asking all these questions. Like, we need to start asking questions. So we got it all set up, our Facebook, our Instagram, like we got it all set up to go. And she sent us a meme, a funny meme of two little girls running through the house with, it says hiding from Biden on it. These little girls. And it's funny. It was funny. And they wiped out all three of our accounts because that was considered child pornography. I didn't go to jail. I didn't just, you know, oh, you're going to be, you know, in the corner for a little bit. Literally wiped my account. So all my memories, all my pictures, all of it is gone. And it pissed me off at first. And then I was like, oh shit, I must be onto something. It's not like I'm sitting and just on an open platform to anybody, but I must be on to something for them to, and it was all three of us. And we were sharing that information amongst the three of us, and they wiped out all three of our accounts on the exact same day.
What are they going to do when they wipe out half of the country off of their platform? I mean,
I think doing what they're doing is going to wipe people out of their platforms, and nobody's going to trust them anymore.
They're not going to have any. I mean,
they won't have a business anymore.
Going to wipe out half the universe off of their platform. What's that going to do? What's it look like? Are they thinking about that? You know,
that's what's interesting to me. I'm like, you're like these big mega corp, you know, and all this stuff, and you're just wiping out your customers. The more you do it, the more people are going to catch on and be like, we're not going to use your platform anymore. We're done with you.
That's what's going to happen to a lot of businesses. Happening, you know, might be the platforms, book and all those, and then it's going to be the business keep up these tyrannical rules just to be able to go their business. Oh, it's gonna happen unless we stop it first. You know, they're it's
up to us. It's up to us, the people, for sure. We're the ones that have been enslaved. We're the slaves in the mix of it, and we've done it willingly. We've done it to ourselves. We've done it willingly. Okay, keep lying to us. That's why I think now that we're awake to it, all of it seems so ridiculous. It really did not take a brain children to do this. What they're doing is so stupid. And now that we're aware of it, we're like, Jesus, we were totally asleep. Now that we're awake, you can see how freaking ridiculous it all is. It's just dumb. And they don't have a plan B. They're so used to doing it their same stupid way that they don't know how to do it any other way. Now that we're awake, we're like, Jesus, man, were we not paying attention?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, it was just so dumb. It's some of it so dumb. And now that we see it, we're questioning everything. All of it. Good morning, Dee. Robert just joined Stand Up Humboldt last night. Good job, Robert. Support them. They're wonderful, wonderful people. Yes, so I do not have a Facebook anymore. I was like, I will never, ever, ever, I'm not ever going back. I don't care. And a lot of people are like, you're not on Facebook anymore. And I'm like, nope, I will never give them the satisfaction. I'm not an Instagram wiped me out too. And I'm just like, yep, nope. I'm not playing it. Good morning, Elaine. This spring roll, good morning. You're late to the chat. We talked about you earlier, how wonderful you are. And yeah, Sherry, I thank you so much for coming on with me today and bringing up that information that nobody knows about. That no, I have not heard one thing about that, but people are going to hear about it now. People are going to hear about it now. Are you muted? Are you muted, Sherry? I can't hear you. Yeah, you're muted. I can't hear you. I'm going to look through my chat. Hello, no face. Haha, no Facebook for Mandy. I respect that. Yeah, no, I ain't going to give them the satisfaction. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was just saving information that they were posting. They were posting it. I was just saving it. And they went, oh, shit, this is a smart one. She's stockpiling all the information. We don't want people to stockpile because there's a story there. That's exactly how I saw it. And that is exactly how I felt about it. I was saving information. It was just blow your mind. I can't hear you. I still can't hear you, babe. I can't. Is there anything with a red slash through it? Look down on the bottom of the screen. There's like a little microphone and a camera. Is there one with a red slash through it? Ugh. Okay, I told you at the beginning, I'm a ding when it comes to all of this technology. Is there, are you on a phone or a computer? Phone? Is everybody having fun? Yes, we're trying to figure out why Sherry's muted. Is it an iPhone? It's an iPhone. Open the screen that has your phone and your little digit dials and all that stuff. Did you mute it there? Yeah, you should have little choices. Is Shepard here? Shepard, you're late. And that's okay because we're probably going to wind it down because we lost Sherry's audio. And she had such good stuff today. So you're going to have to watch this back because there's some interesting stuff. And we're going to have to probably pass this information along to Liberty Warrior. Were they muting Mike last night? Anna just said they're muting her like they did Mike last night. And, you know, before I would have thought that was the biggest bunch of BS. But at this point in the game, that doesn't surprise me one bit. That they would be like, oh, this one's a smart one. She's giving information. We need to shush. She needs to shush. We need to not hear her anymore. So you can't figure it out, Sherry? What? Okay. I will end the show here shortly, okay? So that's interesting, Diane. Diane, that's interesting, Deanna, that it's, I completely believe that kind of stuff, that they're like, we need to silence, and we're not going to stop, and we're not going to quit doing what we're doing. And yes, Jersey Girl, Facebook is a waste of time, and it took me a minute to realize how much time I wasted on it. But when it came to finding intel and information that was waking me up out of my sleep, it was extremely handy. It was extremely handy, so I have gratitude for them for that. And now I don't waste my time on the stupid BS anymore. When I'm scrolling through my phone and information, I'm trying to find information that's helpful and help with the mission that we're on right now. Thank you, love. I know my name is, I'm just going to call you D, because it's Deanna, but I'm going to call you D because I don't know. My heart should call you D. That's what I should call it. All right. Yeah, Shepard, you're going to have to replay because there was some really good information, and Sherry is a total badass, and she had some really good information. She's a total badass, and we love her for coming on. And I just do better when I'm in a state of communication, and now poor Sherry's like, now she's in silent mode, and we can't keep our conversation going. So I'm not going to make everybody suffer through all of it, but I do want to try something. I do want to try something to read outside the box. I want to share a video that I found that I thought was super interesting, and so I'm gonna do my best to play it and see if it works. So just bear with me. This is new technology that I haven't done before. It's a 6-minute video, and I just want you to hear the words.
Understand, find out where we're being taken, what the goal is, and then the world just opens up. Oh, so that's why they're doing that. Oh, so that's why that's happening. Instead of, what's happening? What's happening? Oh, what they're doing now becomes so clear. And what you do, you take control of your perception. Because it's very difficult to manipulate people, possible to manipulate people when you understand the game. Because how does problem reaction solution manipulate you when you understand how it works? How does the totalitarian tiptoe manipulate you when you understand how it works? Know the game, and you can win the game. Just stay calm. We are an infinite point of eternal consciousness on an eternal journey of exploring all possibility. That's as bad as it gets. This is just an experience. We can make it a nice experience, we can make it an unpleasant experience. We have the power to choose. And it's about time we realize that, because when enough people do, this cult, he says, we need to appreciate the difference between those that control the microphones and so many people, not all by any means, but so many people in Galilean number who don't get to the microphones. You see the activists and the climate cult activists, freaking transgender activists, all that, the politically correctness, and then you talk in public and you see a completely different perception to that. But because they dominate microphones, as of course they do because that's the agenda, people can get the impression that that's what the population doesn't. My father used to say, the silent majority is silent because it's got to say. It's time for the silent majority to speak.
Did all of you hear that? Could you hear it? Okay. Oh, let me take this off. We're going to stop that. It's brilliant, and I think that's where we need to be. It's time for the silent majority to speak. The reason why the other side is being heard is because they have the microphones. They're willing to throw themselves out there and scream and holler and yell, and this isn't right, and you need to believe this, and you need to do this. And we're just good, happy, peaceful people that just want to live our lives and going, okay, now it's time. I think it's time. That it's time to speak, it's time to stand up, time to speak our voice. Shepherd of the forest, you asked me the other day a couple of times about, you know, should I just say something? Should I just talk about it? If you don't do it now, then when are you going to do it? You have to love and honor yourself, and this is God's plan. I know it is. I know this is God's plan, where we are headed and what is happening, and we cannot stop now. We have been, this is our job. This is our duty to make a difference and change what's happening. And it's up to us as the people of this world to say, we've had enough. We are done, and we are not going to take this anymore. Because we've been convinced to be afraid of breaking out of the mold. This is how we're supposed to act. This is how we're supposed to talk. This is how we behave. And the other side's telling us, if you speak that way, there's names on us. You know, you're a racist, you're a bigot, you know, all of those beautiful things. And we've been programmed to keep our mouths shut, walk in line, follow suit, do what we're supposed to do. We've been convinced, we've been programmed to do that very thing. And now's the time to say, bullshit, we're done, and we're not doing it for another freaking second. And if you do, then you deserve to be enslaved. You've made the choice to do that. We, as the fighters, we can't let that. We even have to help the dumb ones. We have to help the ones that are just too chicken shit and too brainwashed to save themselves. Because our battle and our fight is for all of humanity, not just the United States of America, not just me. It's for everybody, all humanity, every human being on this planet that is for good. We have to fight for them, and we have to bring down the sadistic cult that has been running the show in the shadows for a long time, for as long as we could ever freaking remember it. We're done. I'm done. You're done. Sherry, you're done. You have the voice to speak. I know you're muted right now and you don't really have the voice right at the moment, but I love you and I so appreciate it. But it is, now's the time. Now's the time to wake up, and we have to fight this battle. And it gets heavy. It gets heavy sometimes with this information. So I know I said I'd be here all the time, every day. I think I'm going to break it down to maybe Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, because this information is so heavy sometimes. As a sensitive soul like I am, I'm an empath and I'm intuitive, and sometimes all of this stuff gets so heavy on my heart that it literally drops my vibration. I can literally feel it happening when certain information comes out. I want to be able to tell it, but sometimes I have to have a couple days to process it, to get it through my system, to be able to let it come out my mouth. And when it's heavy, it feels forced and pushed and not authentic of who I am. So I know everybody loves Liberty Warrior. I'm a man, I love him, and he is just a force to be reckoned with. And the reason why I'm even doing any of this is because that SOB come crashing into my world like the Kool-Aid man and was like, I'm dragging you by your hair and you're doing this. And so now I'm here and I'm doing it. I'm learning my energies and myself, and it's just like every single day of being in this mindset of this platform is a little heavy on my heart. I'm actually missing out on my life and the beauties of my life because my mind is always into this kind of stuff to, you know, share with everybody. So I'm going to break it down. I think I'm going to try it, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. I will come on live at 10 o'clock, same time. It's just every day is a little heavy on my soul and my heart. And you can always find your intel with our groups. We've got Jeff, we've got Craig DeHunter, we've got Liberty Warrior. You know, we've got people that are just across the board that are trying to get the information. There's 1,000 other platforms if you want to get the information. I will do my best. I want to be more on a soulful level to be able to bring this to you and bring somebody like Sherry on to be able to talk to you guys about the amazing stuff that she talked about today that I had no clue about. None of us had any clue about. And we're going to be able to, I don't know, maybe tonight I'll get on Liberty Warrior and talk about, or Sherry, you can get on Liberty Warrior and tell them your side of it, tell them what you told us today, because I think that's important information that we're not seeing. We're always on the top headlines, right? All the good juicy stuff is what needs to be talked about. And this stuff that Sherry talked about today, that's the kind of stuff that's important that needs to be talked about. We are on a mission. We can't stop now. I woke up this morning very joyful in my heart. I think something big and good is happening. I do. I just woke up today with, I didn't have heaviness. I was just very light in starting my day. Humboldt was going to have a voice. Thank you, Mike, and Liberty Warrior. Mandy, another fellow warrior. The world depends on us, Jersey girl. That is absolutely true. Get off the concrete and the blacktop. Take your shoes off. Pray. Meditate for guidance. Heal yourself. Yes, get outside. Get outdoors. I went out yesterday with my son. We were killing gophers, and I literally had a moment of just bliss. That I was outside in the sun. You could hear the cows mooing because it was feeding time, and just playing in the dirt with my son. And I literally had a moment of bliss of going, this is what it's all about. This is what we're protecting. This is what we're fighting for. It's now. Now's the time. We are in it. It's not coming. It's not coming in a few days. It's not coming in a few months. We are literally in it at this very moment, in real time. This shit is really freaking happening. I don't know. I think we're blessed that we're actually witnessing this in our lifetime, because everything as we know it that we've been taught our whole entire lives is about to change. And it's up to us whether it's going to be a change for the good for all of humanity, not just the US, all of humanity. I think it's a pretty brilliant mission to be on with all of us. Don't you? Don't you feel like that's a good mission to be on? Everybody in the room? I love all of you. Sherry, I am so sorry that you're muted. I would love for you to be able to say goodbye to everybody. I thank you for your service. Thank you for being here. Thank you for speaking your truth. I hope that you will come back on with me again and we can have another day of drinking coffee. Always Fridays. We'll do it on Friday. I will always make that day clear for you. I would love to spend my Fridays with you. When you have the time. You've got my email. Everybody else, I'm libertywarrior@gmail.com if you want to send a message. I'm open, but I will do it. I think I'm going to do it Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I need to break it up for my soul. It's just kind of heavy sometimes to always be in this mindset. And I have to love my life as well. I can't always be in this headspace. So I love all of you. Sherry, you are beautiful soul. I wish the absolute best. I hope you have the wonderful day. Keep in communication with me, sunshine. We'll get you doing your craft and your artwork and doing some acting and all that wonderful stuff that you want to do. I think you can do it. I believe in you. Do it. Now's the time. All right. I love everyone. Have a wonderful day. Make good choices. Be good people. Raise your voice. Now's the time, everyone. Bye.